We are live from Ibiza for another edition of Café Diem with your host, Michelle Reed, and my special guest, Emma Sabin. How are we today, Emma?
Really good, thanks, Michelle.
Good.
Here with Michelle.
Fantastic. And I just want to say, in this episode, we are going to discuss cancer prevention from a cancer survivor. So everything Emma has to say today is from her point of view. It may or may not work for you, but it's things for you to take on board if you know somebody dealing with breast cancer or any cancer. As we know, it is the second largest cause of death worldwide. So it's something that we should be talking about. So Emma, welcome to the cafe for a second time.
Thank you, Michelle. Very honored to be here.
Yeah, I'm honored to have you, Emma, as a very dear friend for the last 3-ish years and somebody who I see on a regular basis. And we have a lot to talk about when we see each other. So we're going to try to wrap up everything into half an hour today. So for people who may or may not know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And across the world, actually, so a global push to increase attention, support for the awareness, of course, early detection, treatment, and of course, the palliative care of this horrific disease. And I thought it would be appropriate to bring my very first guest on for October the 7th as Emma, who is a survivor of breast cancer. So welcome to the cafe. And probably not going to be as cheery as it was last time when we had our conversation about your fantastic business, Super Cala, but it is something that people need to be aware of. So whether you're a man or woman, it affects everybody.
Yeah.
And so we do start our Café Diem with what's brewing. And Emma, I would love to know what's brewing in your cup today.
So I can't drink normal coffee for various reasons. Well, just because it makes me too hyper. So I'm actually drinking today a combination of mushrooms. I've got some masala chai, some cacao, lion's mane, cordyceps, all sorts of mushrooms in here. And it's absolutely, and I've got collagen in here as well and coconut oil. And it's absolutely gorgeous.
I think what would be really nice is if you, after we're done here, you gave us the recipe for your morning brew, because it sounds incredible. And if you could hold up your mushroom coffee tin to the camera for a second.
Here we go.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What is it? I would definitely put a link in the description box below because I want to get that.
One. Yeah, it's amazing. It's so yummy. It's a real treat in the morning. It's a full breakfast, it's lovely.
Yeah. So move over, Mecca. Mushrooms are coming through.
Yeah. And with the collagen and the coconut oil and sea salt, you make it really creamy. It's lovely. It's like a cappuccino without the dairy, which
I like it.
Yeah. I can't also have, which we'll get on to soon.
You got me into adding salt into my cacao for sure. Okay. So anytime I have a little bit of a sweet craving, I just have a cacao with a little bit of a good quality salt, and I think of you.
Oh, it's so yummy.
I do need to get my hands on a good quality collagen because they're not super easy.
I'll do another
to find.
That. I've got a really good one. I can also share. Really good.
All right, so we're going to bypass where you would have a coffee in Ibiza because that's irrelevant today. But I want to get straight into your story, Emma. So in the Café Diem fashion, I'd like you to spill the beans. So or spill the mushrooms in this, spill the powder of mushrooms in this case. Powder. And I want you to give us your story and what led you to healing in Ibiza.
Okay.
So take us back to 2013, 2010 even probably.
Wow. Yeah. 2013 basically was the year that changed my life. I think it was I was 40 on the 5th of June, and on the 30th of May, I found a lump in my left breast. And basically shortcut to a week later, I found out I had 2 lumps in my left breast, and they were stage 3 cancer lumps, basically. So my whole life just changed. I was a sales director in London. I was leading a very fast life, working hard, playing hard. I had everything on the outside, everything that you might think was this normal life. And I knew something was wrong. I did know something was wrong. Something inside of me, something in my heart, knew that something wasn't quite right. And literally, that's that then started a whole nother path and a whole new journey. And they say life begins at 40.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being really angry, going, life begins at 40. This is like life ending at 40. Mm. But 7 years on, I know that actually life did begin at 40. It was just a life that I hadn't really perceived, and it wasn't the life that I was leading. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe now that cancer is a wake-up call. It's a way of your body to say, the life you're leading isn't the life you should be leading, or something's wrong. So I was then led down the usual route with double mastectomy, chemotherapy, radiation, hormone therapy, and I went down that path, a pretty horrendous path, for 12 to 18 months. I was due to go on a drug for the rest of my life, a drug called tamoxifen, and something in my intuition, something in my heart told me, don't take this drug, because I reacted really badly to all the treatment. And I truly believe that actually cancer in itself as a disease, it's a way of your cell, they're not really working properly, and it's just really a case of getting your body back in line, getting the energy back into your body in the right way. You don't need to kill the cells, it's just about re-energizing the cells. So something in me made me realize I didn't want to continue down the path of drugs and cutting and radiating and all of that. It just didn't feel right in my body anymore. And so I started on a slightly different path and started hearing about CBD oil, and the THC element. I heard, the green juicing aspect, the Ayurveda, and I just started looking into different avenues. And I began this whole new journey, understanding how actually the world of health is quite simple if we stay aligned with the earth. And I realize now when I look back, I'm not that surprised I got cancer. I mean, it was a surprise at the time, it was shocking. But when I look back now and when I realize what happens in the body when you have disease, as in dis-ease, your body is unaligned, it's misaligned, it's your cells aren't operating in the way that they should be operating. And I realize now that the life I'd led up until the age of 40, through no fault of my own, had slowly led me to a point where my body was saying, stop. And I look at it all now, and I think there are three big areas that helped lead me to that path, and it was the environment. And
Emma, I'm just gonna, before we move on, I have a couple questions.
Oh, okay, go.
Number one is, you said you felt it. You felt it, like you said that. And I just want you to elaborate on that a little bit more, like, just because I think for people who, are leading this sort of like fast-paced, rushing women syndrome in London or any big city, like sometimes they don't feel their bodies. They're so stuck in their mind, right? And I think we've all been there, especially everybody who comes from Ibiza can probably say a similar thing. So can you just elaborate on kind of the diagnosis and what like brought you into just a bit more of elaboration there for anybody who may wonder, like, oh, should I go and get tested, or
Well, this is the emotional aspect. I had a great job as a sales director. I had a great team. It was in a good company, but I knew in my heart it wasn't for me. I knew, since I was a child, I hadn't slept very well. I'm easily stressed. So living in a corporate, high, fast-paced lifestyle wasn't good for me. And I remember thinking, your wheels are going to fall off. I remember thinking I was a bit like a train that was going too fast. And I remember thinking, you're going to come off the track. I didn't know how, I didn't know why. But then when I got the breast cancer diagnosis, I was like, I knew something was going to happen. But it was because I realized now I wasn't living in alignment with my true self. I wasn't being me.
Right.
And, the reason my Instagram is called Being Me is because I wasn't being me. And cancer actually helped me reconnect to myself and help me become me. And this island has helped me become me. And, and all the things I've learned have led me into that direction of actually connecting to who I really am and stop trying to be something I was trying to be. For as long as I can remember, up until the age of 40, I was trying to be something for somebody. I won't go into the great details of it all, but I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to be successful, not because I was feeling that it was right, but I was trying to be somebody for the outside world and not for my inside heart. I was very conscious about, years of using food, eating, disordered eating. I had years of that kind of lifestyle, working too hard, exercising too hard, partying, and just worrying about what the world thought of me, and not worrying about myself, not worrying about me, not worrying about what do I want, how much love do I need. I was very good at giving love away and looking after other people, and particularly, and also my, even the job I had, I loved my sales team. I coached them. I have, and I love loving, but I gave too much away. And it's interesting, Louise Hay talks about breast cancer survivors or breast cancer patients, and how they are normally people who haven't self-nurtured. And I didn't know, for some reason or other, I was somebody that couldn't sleep. I didn't sleep for as long as, you asked my mum and dad, I didn't sleep as a baby. And that the science aspect of not sleeping is one of the reasons why I got cancer as well. You don't sleep. I didn't sleep because I didn't have any melatonin. Why didn't I have any melatonin? Because I had no light in my life. That's the other aspect of it. So the emotion was a massive, massive, massive part.
Yeah.
And cancer really did that to me.
Yeah.
And even during the chemotherapy and the radiation, I was cycling up there. Nothing stopped me. I was like, I'm going up to chemo. I'm going to go and sit in the chemotherapy unit. I was surrounded by lots of old ladies. It was actually quite depressing. And I was like, right, what am I going to do? I'm going to do my emails. I'm going to file my nails. I'm going to make use of this time. Still, I wasn't stopping. Still, I wasn't taking the chance to go, what's really happening here? What am I feeling? I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to feel. And I ran from emotions from up until probably 2 years after I got cancer. My father died, and then boom, emotions just came. Yeah. So that's what I mean by not listening. I was too impressed by and too worried about everybody else and not listening to myself.
Clear.
And yeah.
Shivers.
Yeah, I've got shivers
Every time we talk about this, palms of the sweaty palms, but clear, very clear. And I just hope for anybody watching us now or watching back that they understand that. And it's like I say, I speak with my clients about it, and all my inner circle is about really listening to your body, because she or he, whatever it is to you, will tell you what you need to know. And sometimes we just have to silence. We need to put the hat on the mind and just let the mind simmer and listen to our body. So very clear. And we're very fortunate. Pardon?
Sorry to interrupt you. The body will talk to you. So it will whisper to you, whether it's with a little headache because, you're pushing yourself or you're not drinking enough water, whether it's with, backache because you're sitting too much, or whether it's like me, it's shouting at you and you don't listen because you're so worried and you're on this fast train. I had immune problems all my life. So it's no surprise I had cancer. When you look at it all, it's like, of course I got it, and I listened to a degree, and then I got back onto the steam train of life of going and going and going. And I got caught up with it all again. And it wasn't until cancer and then actually coming to this wonderful island that it made me go, boom, are you now going to listen? Are you now going to really so.
Which is a good segue, Emma, because I want you to tell us what brought you to Ibiza to heal.
So after going through the 2-year aspect of my treatment, going through absolute hell and back, having myself cut open, radiated, just like hell, and to anybody listening who's going through it, my heart goes out to you. It's horrendous. And I'm just so grateful there's another side, and there is another side. And, you know, the hair grows back and it's stronger, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, it's brilliant. But unfortunately, when my father died, my health went downhill again. And again, emotional, you know, it's amazing what emotions have on the body, what effect they have on the body. And I noticed that every time I traveled abroad, I got stronger. So every time I was in the sun, every time I was in a different place other than London, and I have no problem with London, but it's not a place for the sick or the elderly. Anyway, I started stumbling across information about light, and I stumbled across a doctor called Jack Kruse, who has had a huge impact on my life. I also read an amazing book called Sleep by Nick Littlehales, and I had lots of light bulbs literally going off because I realized that throughout my life, you know, I started wearing glasses at 6, and I started wearing contact lenses at 12. I was a redhead, so bless my mum, you know, she covered me in sunblock, as, you know, we're told to do. And I was basically shielded from light. So my life was basically, I had no circadian rhythm, which for those of you that don't know, your circadian rhythm is your body's way of understanding what time of the day it is and allowing your hormones to have a nice symphony in your body so that you can get the right hormones at the right time.
Our 24-hour cycle, essentially.
Our 24-hour cycle, and you've got these in your, you know, you've got it in your retina, takes light in, it talks to your SCN, and it goes through to your pituitary gland, blah 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 blah. Anyway, this Dr. Jack Kruse, he basically said to me, you know, watch a plant. Where a plant gets sick, it won't get well. You got sick in London. I was living in a dark house, which I now know had damp. I was never getting any light, was surrounded by Wi-Fi and 4G and all the other wonderful electrical EMFs that were slowly killing me. And he said, you need to move. And, you know, it wasn't an easy decision. It was not an easy decision. It was a desperate decision. You know, at the time I had a fiance. I was living with near my family, my 2 Bengal cats. It was really hard, but I wasn't very well. And when you're not very well, you will do anything to survive. And I was literally laying in bed crying and wondering why is this my life? And for some reason, my ex-fiance and I came to Ibiza one very wet week in December 2016. It was awful. But I was desperate. We traveled around the island. We saw all the wonderful places. And I just said to him, I'm going to give it a go. And he was he wanted me well because he'd seen me go downhill. And basically in January 2017, I came out here. I got a place to live. And I didn't realize it at the time, Michelle. It's so weird. I mean, I left England because of the lack of light, the light that I needed. You know, this is my journey. Not everybody might need this, but for me to heal, I needed light. And I came to an island that I didn't realize artists come to for light because of the beautiful spectrum of light here. Artists flock here. It's a beautifully creative island. It has the most wonderful big blue skies. I mean, I know a lot of people know it for its raving, but actually, as you know, the other side of it is all about healing. And the most amazing thing about Ibiza is you can be who you want to be. So I came to this island for the light to help me heal. And I followed the instructions of Dr. Jack Kruse. He said to me, I had to do these specific things. I had to watch sunrise every day. I had to wear blue blocking glasses, these ones, after dark every day. I had to not eat after sunset. I had to get cold every day. I think that was it. Yeah, those are my strict instructions. Not very sociable when you come to Ibiza. It's like, I can't eat after dark. I have to be up at sunrise. I have to wear blue blockers. Oh, and I had to sleep on the ground floor and turn my Wi-Fi off at night.
Right.
Let me tell you, my sleep changed overnight. I started going into that deep, deep sleep that I had never experienced in my life, because I now realize I wasn't getting the full spectrum of light to create melatonin in my body. And my brain wasn't getting rid of the toxins at night in that 4th phase of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't able to, you know, have energy the next day. And it was unbelievable. Like literally within 3 months, there was a big change in me. And my ex came out to see me. We were jumping, you know, going up a mountain. And I remember him shouting at me saying, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Of course I'm all right." And he went, "Oh, gosh, Emma's back." And he went, "Do you remember you couldn't even walk up the tube escalator 3 months ago without getting out of breath?" And I was like, wow, you know.
Was it that quick, 3 months in Ibiza? I mean, following your five steps of protocol, was it 3 months?
3 months, because I was in bed. I was not seeing any, I literally wasn't seeing any bright light after dark, no blue light.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting such deep sleep. I have never experienced sleep like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was basically allowing my body to heal. And this, you know, this island loved me well. I know that sounds really weird, but I literally, the moment I arrived here, I felt safe.
Yeah.
And I also, a big part of it, I think, was, you know, after having a double mastectomy and 6 operations, you know, there's a part of your womanhood. Yeah, it's really tough, you know, and, you know, there's a part of me that every time I see these, oh my goodness, I love them. And I'm so grateful to be here. And I'm so grateful to the wonderful surgeon who made me look normal after what, you know, after the bodge jobs. But, you know, there's still an element of shame, I suppose, you know, but this island helped me move over that, you know, the nudist beaches, you know, I never thought I'd be one of those hippies that, you know, but my God, embracing that, allowing myself to jump in the sea and sing and be me and just allow myself to be free.
Yes.
I think that is a massive, massive part of my healing, you know. So that's where, like, you know, the environment for me is huge for cancer healing.
Yeah.
Emotions, you know, it's all so intertwined, you know, it's not just one thing. It's like the perfect storm of getting sick and the perfect storm of getting well, you know. That's the beauty of holistic healing, isn't it? You know,
it is. And I was going to say that we're so fortunate to call Ibiza home. We really are. And every day I'm grateful for it. Every day I jump in the sea with you in the morning, even though it's cold. I'm so grateful that we can do this. So Emma loves a cold therapy.
I love it. I love the sea.
She loves the sea. It was a bit challenging the other day.
I'm absolutely sure that that's why I'm here and why I'm thriving is because of that sea. I'm absolutely sure of it. Yeah. And I love going in with people. I love it. I love it. It's always the same. It's always the same thing. People are like, I don't want to. And then after 90 seconds, bam, it's like the serotonin, the dopamine, they get the hit they need from the cold water. And it's and it's free.
It is free.
You know?
One thing, so we did touch on emotion, we touched on energy, and we touched on environment. A little bit about food, Emma. Tell, like, what, because we haven't really touched on food.
Food, I mean, in today's world, you know, and I think probably to your listeners, they're pretty healthy. Mm-hmm. So, you know, most people now know that, you know, we should not be mainlining sugar if you want to be having a healthy life. But, you know, my history, as I said, I had disordered eating throughout my life. I now know I was a sugar burner, not a fat burner. And so in the past 7 years, I have learned, you know, I'm not fully keto. I'm probably a soft keto. I'm paleo, but I learned to take out the things that are not good for breast cancer. So I don't eat dairy, you know, because of the hormone aspect. A big thing that I took out of my diet was alcohol. I mean, that was hard. God, I thought I was an alcoholic when I realized actually that I was going to have to not drink regularly. I do drink occasionally, but when I read the studies and found out the links with alcohol consumption and breast cancer, it was startling. And then it, you know, every time I drank, it just didn't taste the same anyway. And unfortunately, with my, you know, my liver, after all the work, you know, treatment, means my body doesn't work as well as it used to anyway. So alcohol and me isn't a great mix. So yeah, food, I think, is a big part of a cancer journey in terms of making sure you're getting all the nutrients, you know, and also intermittent fasting. You know, one of the things cancer hates is autophagy, you know, and autophagy is a wonderful, easy way of killing off those bad cells. And, you know, healthy cells should just die. They should, you know, they should kill themselves off. But unfortunately, cancer cells don't. Cancer cells just grow and grow and grow. And unfortunately, if you're feeding them with, you know, sugar, whatever form it is, they'll just keep growing. And that's why I like things like cold thermogenesis, you know, cold water therapy, because that helps your mitochondria strengthen. And so, yeah, diet, food, it's all very linked to the environment. This doctor also told me, Jack Cruz, never eat anything that's not in season. So, you know, don't eat a banana in Christmas in London, basically, because that's not been grown there. And the mitochondria, your mitochondria, it's not synced. So yeah, I mean, Nathan, one of my guests, can go on a little bit more about that, but food also had the other dimension, as I said, you know, because of it was linked to my emotions. So I had spent 40 years using food to numb my emotions. And when I decided that was not the path I was going to take anymore, then boy, did those emotions come up, you know, and they want to be heard. And, you know, so as I said, the food, the emotions, the environment, it's like this little triangle of, energy. It's all energy. We are energetic beings. And whether it's, you know, the thoughts you're thinking or the food you're eating, or the light you're sat under, you are an energetic being that is you know, is responding to that energy around you. So if you've got your feet on the ground and you're getting fed wonderful energy from the earth, or if you're being surrounded by Wi-Fi and 5G and you're getting frazzled, you know, it's going to have a massive effect on your mitochondria, your body, and your energy. And cancer is basically it's a disease of aging and lack of energy. It's not genetic. I mean, there are some cancers that are genetic, but there's reasons why we get cancer, you know, and it's different for everyone. You know, N equals 1, Jack Cruz would say. What's right for me is not right for you. But I got cancer for various reasons, and it's taken me a few years to unravel why. But we all know deep down, I think, back to that intuition. It's just, are we really listening? And believe you me, Michelle, I am still on this path. I don't always listen. You know, my go-to is to be fast. I'm a type A personality. I love adrenaline. It's that's my thing. So, you know, I can get high so easily, and I have to really learn to slow down. I have to work hard at bringing myself into my parasympathetic. But at least I know about it, right? At least I know that it exists.
I think that is the foundation, is awareness. For sure, for anybody. And one of my kind of gurus, her name is Dr. Libby. She's a doctor from New Zealand. She's coined it as rushing women syndrome. We're like most people, probably a lot of people in your circle as well, we're constantly going. Like always going, just going. And we don't, I mean, in Ibiza, it's a little bit different for sure. Definitely different. But we're pretty busy in Ibiza too, aren't we?
Yeah. But I truly believe, you know, a big part of me not listening was the first thing I screamed actually when I was diagnosed with cancer, literally within seconds, was I want to be a mum. And I had pushed that down for so long. At the age of 40, I suddenly realized I wanted to be a mum, and I had been on this fast cycle of competing and trying to be something. You know, I'm a businesswoman, you know, and I was wanting, you know, my father's affection. I realize now I was wanting to compete in the world. I was wanting to get up there, make money, and, you know, and I do believe that women and men are different. And I'm a feminist, but I'm not a feminist that thinks that we have to do everything the same as men. We're very different. We've got different hormones, you know. We can't have the same diets. We can't drink as much. I mean, I gave it a good try, but, you know, we can't do the same as men because they're stronger in their constitutions. We are very delicate. We have a very strong intuition, and coming with that, we have to look after ourselves. We have to listen to it. And I was massively into my masculine world. Ironically, I got breast cancer in the left side, which is my feminine. I wasn't listening to my feminine side. And, all of that self-nurturing and, the fact that I now would have loved to have been a mum, that journey's past now, and that's my time, and that's fine. But
enter Supercala.
Enter Supercala. Yeah. Exactly. That's why I do Supercala. I love it. And I, much as I'd love to be a mum, I still get to go home and have peace at night, which is, great. I don't get the love from the children, but, it's different.
Oh, you get the love from the children.
No, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? There's always going to be
the genuine love from the children.
I do get different love. Yeah, that's true. It's just different. It's very different. And, we can't have everything in life. I think that's the thing. Women, it's so hard. Women are trying to have everything, and nobody can have everything. There's a compromise with everything. My sister, bless her, she's got the most amazing son, my nephew, and she's got another one on the way, and she gets so much love, but she has no time for herself, and we've got these two very, very, very different lives. Both of them have benefits. And I think it's just accepting and realizing we're all different. And
and perfectly imperfect.
Perfectly imperfect.
Yeah. Excellent, Emma. Well, that is going to wrap us up for this conversation about spilling the beans. However, I do want you to have a small little introduction of our 3 guests that are coming up this month that you so gracefully selected for to go on your journey. So again, in honor of our Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we start next week with Nathan. If you can give me a little introduction of Nathan and where he fit into your journey.
So Nathan is, he was also someone who has learned through experience ill health, but also he's a lover of Jack Cruz. Okay. So I've invited him on because he knows so much about mitochondria disease, which is the absolute heart of everything. It's our little energy centers, and he will be able to explain, because he's got a far more scientific brain than me, about why, working with your ATP, all of that, it's so interesting. So he's your first guest, and he's got the science aspect. He can also explain obviously about the light and the cold therapy. Okay. So that's part of the environment. And he'll talk about food as well. It's all a sort of mishmash. And then on the 21st, it's Hannah Clark, who's coming on to join too. She's really, she's a good friend, and also just such an expert, and has such intuition in terms of emotions, and she has a lot of experience with the plant medicine world. She has a lot of experience herself in terms of the aspect of breath work. I mean, I've used plant medicine and psychedelics and breath work to help me access my emotions, because I had this little hard box and they went in like a bullet and helped me to release them. So I've invited Hannah on to talk more about that, because I believe she's just, she is a wise woman. And then the last,
a fellow Ibizan.
A fellow Ibizan, yeah. Oh gosh, she's a proper Ibizan. She's been there for years. Not that I'm not, but I'm a 3.5-year-old, like Ibizan baby. She's a wise Ibizan. Nathan has been to Ibiza and loved it. Absolutely loved it. He calls it Ibiza.
We'll get into that next week.
Oh yeah. My American friends, they all call it Ibiza. How is Ibiza? I'm like, come on. And then
as well.
It's hilarious. I've started calling it Ibiza now as well. And my third guest, or your third guest, is Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah Hodgson is also a lover of Jack Cruz, a very good friend of Jack Cruz. And I met her, and she has helped me so much. She is just knows everything to know about electromagnetic frequencies, whether they are, can I say that properly? Electromagnetic frequencies, whether they're non-native or native, as in whether they're from the earth or whether they're man-made like 5G, and how they are affecting our health. She talks from very good experience. She had, I'll let her go into more detail, but she came to visit me in Ibiza, and unbelievably was welcomed here by the island. I hope she's going to come here again very soon. So
I hope she does as well. So maybe we'll be able to convince her at the end of the month.
Yeah.
I don't think she needs convincing though. I doubt she needs convincing. So
I don't think she does.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I'm really excited for that, Emma, and I do really appreciate you taking the driver's seat with October Café Diem. And it's an honor to have you do that and to be able to.
Thank you so much for inviting me back. I really appreciate it.
And for people, Emma and I met 3.5 years ago through Facebook Messenger. we were both in Ibiza, December 2017, and then made the move in spring 2017. So, and when we got to know each other better, we realized that we have a lot of the same values, a lot of the same principles when it comes to well-being and natural health and functional medicine, that sort of thing. So, like I say, Emma, it's an honor to have you here. And to be able to hug you, which I can't wait to see you, so I can give you a real hug.
In the sea.
In the sea, yeah. With our breasts radiating.
Yes, breastfed. God, I sound like a right hippie. My friends in London, if they're listening, or they'll be like, what has she turned into?
You know what? When people tell you change, you say thank you, right? You're like, I have. Yeah. I'm happy and I'm proud of it.
Yeah. No, I'm only joking.
Yeah, of course. So before I introduce Nathan for next week, I just want everybody to make an effort to go and follow Emma and show her some love. So if you can find her on Instagram, which is beingme.es, I will link that in the description below. As well, if you're looking for more detailed on her story, you can go to her YouTube channel as well, which is a whole load of numbers and words, but I will link it in the description below as well. So you can find Emma there. And then I want to make a mention of our esteemed guest coming all the way from New York. He's in New York right now. Nathan is a holistic coach and, as Emma said, a mitochondria expert, and definitely has helped Emma along her healing journey as well. He's healed himself, as well as he will be instilling some biohacking for us to take on board to make sure that, again, that we're preventing any dis-ease that our body may be fighting. What I think is quite interesting as well, that cancer or disease in general doesn't just like you do something wrong and then all of a sudden, you've got cardiovascular disease, diabetes, any of these kind of more preventable disease. It is a long journey, culmination of, like you say, things that you may or may not be listening to. So it's good to now start thinking about this if you haven't already, especially with what's going on in the world. It's really important right now. And you did touch upon the worry and the fear factor and that sort of emotional connection to disease. And in Ibiza, we do practice a lot of meditation, and I urge people that if they're not coming into their parasympathetic nervous system, if they're constantly staying in fight or flight, to look back on Emma's previous interview where she gave us a little mindfulness meditation. So it was about 5 minutes, and it was a nice little thing that you could do instantly whenever you start to feel that sort of that fight or flight as well.
Or even something actually that's really even quicker. If like literally, what can I feel right now? What can I feel? Where can I feel? So like I can feel the sofa on my bottom, on my back. What can I smell? I can't actually smell anything. What can I see? That's even quicker.
Yeah. Well, I want people to watch your old video.
Oh yeah, and watch that too. Thanks.
No, but just to go back to your point, it's the five senses. The five senses meditation.
There you go.
So it takes about 5 minutes. You spend about 60 seconds each if you want, or so that's that's a very good point. That's a good thing to do. So the 5 senses meditation, I'll link that in the description box below.
Yeah.
Well. So then, like I say, finally, we will see Nathan next week. If you want to know a little bit more about him before the interview, you can find him on journeytooptimalhealth.com. So we'll welcome our guest from the US, our first guest from the US next week. And then to wrap up, if you want to say hola, you want to come over and say hello to Café Diem, or if you'd like to send us the profile of any guests that you would like to see on Café Diem in November or December or going into January 2021, I open the conversation and would love for you to suggest anybody. And we will go with what you think, maybe, as long as they have a connection to Ibiza. And then, of course, if getting control of your health and fitness sometimes feel challenging, I help women get stronger, look after their nutrition, and let them lead a more joyful, purposeful life all the way from Ibiza. So I work one-on-one with people in Ibiza or online as well. So you can find me on Unconditional Love Fitness. And before we wrap up, what I would love people to do is, if there's anything that resonated with you in Emma's story, I would love for you to put it in the description box below. I would love to open a conversation about what you think could possibly be holding you back, or maybe there's things that, resonated with Emma's story, and let us know so we can open that discussion as well. So Emma, with that, we wrap up Café Diem 22 with my special guest, Emma Sabin. And I say thank you very much for joining us and for coming on this journey in October. And we will probably see you next week with Nathan. Okay. We're going to try to make that happen.
You're going to be bored of me by the end of October.
I don't think so, babe. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. It's obviously a real subject close to my heart. So yeah, it's a big deal. I feel very honoured that you've asked me. Thank you.
And I'm honoured to call you a friend, to call you an amiga. Yeah. So thanks very much. And we'll see what Nathan drinks for his beverage next week. And we will sign out from my living room and Emma's living room for Café Diem. And we will see you next week with Nathan, Journey to Optimal Health. Adios, everybody. Have a good day.